Hey, what's up, everybody? Frederick Polk here. So apparently, there's a ground stop going on in Newark, and the reason for that ground stop is air traffic control. Hmm. So for those of you who don't know what an air stop is, or I'm sorry, a ground stop, well, basically, it's when the airport shuts down operations for landing, and that could be for any number of reasons. It could be for a weather-related event, high winds, thunder, lightning, and thunder. Sometimes very heavy rain, but usually not. It could also be for a mechanical reason. Maybe a plane has broken down on the runway, it can't take off, or it can't maneuver, and they have to tow it out of the way. Or it could be, for somebody of visiting importance. Usually it could be a foreign dignitary, or it could be the President of the United States, where they basically clear the airspace around that airport, let Air Force One land, and then, the president leaves, and then they, basically let air traffic resume. But an ATC, or air traffic control, is a big deal. It's because either the airspace is overwhelmed, or there's just not enough air traffic controllers to handle the airspace. And for those of you who don't know, the Northeast Corridor, so basically starting at, it's dovetailed down into Charlotte and Atlanta, but really the DCA, so Washington National and Washington, D.C., going all the way up to Boston, over into Philly and Detroit, is one of the busiest airspaces we have. Now, one of the reasons we don't have flying cars is because when you're looking at airspace, you're looking at it as a cube. You're not looking at it as like where with cars, you're on the road and, you may have cars to the front and back and to the sides of you. And that's what you worry about is no, you got to worry about above and below. And so when they do flight paths and they plot that out with air traffic control, it's based in a cube, typically anywhere from 500 to 1,000 feet. So as you slow down and you come in for a landing, the space between is usually a little less than, say, if you were operating above flying flight routes. You might have seen this if you've ever had a window seat in a plane and you look out and you're kind of looking down at the landscape and you see a plane underneath you pass by. And you're like, wow, that's a pretty good distance. Yeah, they're in another flight path. So they're usually about 1,000 feet down or maybe more. You kind of stack, basically they call them, you stack them up. And that's why you need air traffic controllers talking to the pilots, because without that, we would have a lot more accidents in the sky. So firing all those air traffic controllers, well, basically has made a lot of it unsafe to operate. In fact, Scott Kirby, the CEO of United at Newark, announced that they're cutting back 35 flights a day. And DCA, Washington National, actually has 2 scheduled ground stops per day because they're trying to make that airspace, safer, because it's gotten increasingly more and more congested because everybody wants to go to National instead of going to Dulles, which was hired to handle all that overflow. Washington National is a smaller airport. It was never designed to handle the traffic that it's handling, especially with all the helicopter traffic now that goes in and out of the district. So this is another result of DOGE and Trump making things much worse. Air travel is about to get a lot worse. Not only because of the profit loss from tourists that are not coming in here, but it's about to get worse because we don't have enough people working in air traffic controller, thanks to Elon Musk and DOGE. And that's thanks to Trump. Anyway, that's all I got for you. Keep the faith, defend democracy, and I'll see you later.